advantage of that, actually selling their appointment spots. You can't make this stuff up. In Miami, officials say driving schools and companies are actually filling up the appointment system and then selling the spots online because they get booked up. So appointments are going for anywhere between $25 to $250. City leaders in Miami are actually working on a proposal to make this illegal. And the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles has tried in the past to address this issue. Here in Central Florida, the situation, the complete opposite. If you want a license in Miami, you have to go through the state-run online appointment system, which is where the fake accounts and bots live. But here in Central Florida, county tax collectors' offices handle those license appointments, usually using their own websites for scheduling.
Well, happening today, a special event aimed at getting results and helping those who have given so much to our country. Volusia County is holding a stand-down event for veterans. Here's some video from last year's event. It's modeled after a program used during the Vietnam War that provided a safe place for combat units returning home. The stand down will help connect veterans with a variety of services, including housing, VA benefits, health and wellness screenings, even free haircuts and clothes. The event will be held at the Ocean Center in Daytona Beach both today and tomorrow from 9 until 2. Now to a wild chase caught on camera in Ohio after a four-legged fugitive took off running and just wouldn't stop.
Yeah, but it wasn't exactly your typical criminal. Check out this body camera video from the Akron Police Department as officers were forced to chase a goat. Originally, the animal was running around a highway, but police were able to corral it to a nearby field, pin him down. According to the department's Facebook post, the goat was turned over to a local animal rescue where workers gave him the appropriate name of fugitive. But Justin, you mentioned earlier there might have been a better option for the name.
That may be the appropriate name, but it's the most boring name you could give him. The easiest one. Really had to dig deep. Fugitive.
Right.
No, there's so many others you could have done.
I'm just thinking though, like, is it only I know nothing about animals as much as I love them. Couldn't you just like scream at it and it would have been like,
I don't know.
Fall over?
I don't know.
Or is that not all goats? Not all goats get
Not all
scared
goats
like
do
that?
it, no.
I'm looking at Michelle like, help me out here, and she's like, no.
No.
I've done goat
Yeah.
yoga. The only
was that?
thing I learned from that is they
poop on you.
and it's a weird.
They're like
It looks weird. It
pebbles.
looks like pebbles. Yeah, it looks like kibble.
Consistency.
Yeah, it looks
Kibble.
like kibbles. We had goats on our farm, so
yeah?
they don't get scared. Well, my goats didn't. They were kind of.
They're cool.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, they would look at you like.
Why am I not
Come
surprised?
At me.
Your goats out of all are like,
My goats are
you
tough.
want some of this?
They would not have been caught.
You probably would have. No, they wouldn't have got caught for sure.
Her goats would have been named Wanted, not Fugitive.
Most likely. All righty, we are off to a chilly start across Central Florida. Good Friday morning to you. Before you head out, you might need a light jacket or even a jacket, because it is breezy out there, so that's adding more chill to the air, but temperatures will warm up nicely. It's going to be a pleasant day, abundant sunshine, and no rain in the forecast. Now, because of the breezy and dry conditions, a red flag warning goes into effect later on this morning, lasting through the evening hours and the weekend forecast. It's looking pretty nice. We're looking at upper 70s on Saturday, lower 80s on Sunday. Taking you outside, Daytona Beach looking gorgeous, seeing some clouds out in the distance, also some colors in the sky. Official sunrise today is 7:28. It's 7:19. We're almost there. And not a soul on the beach. It's because it's cold out there. Yeah. And there's a high rip current risk in place. Look at how choppy the water is. High rip current risk will last all day today, lasting into the evening. Look at that, 47 in Daytona. Northwesterly winds at 9 miles per hour, gust at 20 miles per hour. It's going to stay breezy all morning and at least through the first half of the afternoon hours. Here's a look at your temperatures. We are looking at 49 degrees in Orlando, 47 in Sanford and DeLand, 47 in Daytona Beach, 49 in Cape Canaveral, and 45 in the Villages. Red flag warning for Orange, Osceola, and Brevard County. No fires today. And look at the drought situation. We are in a severe drought in parts of Lake and Sumter, and then a moderate drought over the metro area, parts of Seminole and Volusia County, even Osceola County. So it's very dry. You get the picture. Pinpoint forecast for Daytona Beach. Plenty of sunshine. We're at 49 around 9, 53 around 10. 56 around 11. At least we'll see plenty of sunshine, but it's not going to warm us up much today in Daytona Beach. Y'all see a daytime high of 64 degrees. I do want to talk about this real quick. We're looking at a high rip current risk along all of our Atlantic beaches, and there's also a small craft advisory in effect through the morning. So if you're doing any boating, just use caution. Be careful out there. As we take a look at your forecast highs, 71 in Orlando, 70 in Kissimmee, Leesburg, Wildwood, 69 in the Villages, and 65 in Melbourne. A little bit cooler on the coast because of the winds. Clouds and rain forecast looking fantastic. Clear skies through the morning, clear skies through this evening. And we're looking at a pretty nice start to our weekend. So here's a look at your 7-day. We'll see a high of 71, breezy. Tonight it will be chilly. Temperatures falling into the 40s. Then we rebound nicely into the upper 70s on Saturday. Pretty nice there. 83 on Sunday, warm, and then even warmer on Monday with a high of 86. Now it's time to check on those roads. Here's Trooper Steve.
I just want to go outside right now, like so bad. I just want to get out of here and just go outside.
It's cold though.
Yeah, but let's put this green screen out there, fresh air. If you're getting ready to do the fresh air thing down in Lake Nona, just be careful. We're running slow down here in Narcoossee at Emerson Lake Boulevard. Usually Fridays are much better, but when you have a crash, things just kind of get messed up. Kissimmee, good morning to you. 535 out by the attractions. You can start to see a little bit of that slowdown out here eastbound along I-4, but two different DOT cams here for you. One at the 56 and the other one out here at 192. So look at the difference. You're going to be super slow between 27 and Champions Gate, but once you clear 429, even the slowdowns out here at 192 and 535 this morning are not that bad. Guys, send it back to you.
Thank you, Steve. 722 new this morning, a mishap at Orlando International avoided just in time.
At the bottom of the hour, what the pilot of the Southwest Airlines plane almost did before being stopped by air traffic control.
First, though, a recall alert for parents, the popular brand of allergy medicine for kids being pulled from store shelves, and what you can do to protect your family.
Listen up, parents. A consumer alert this morning involving children's Benadryl. A recall is being issued over fears the packaging may not be secure enough, posing a risk of poisoning. The recall involves Benadryl liquid elixir bottles that were sold on Amazon between July of 2023 and October of last year. The medication contains an ingredient that requires by law child-resistant packaging. Officials say the recall does not involve anything with the medication, but rather the bottle itself. Parents are being told either to keep the recalled bottles away from children or to throw them away. Meantime, a warning: the next time you throw a load of clothes in the washer, Woolite is recalling more than 16,000 bottles of its Delicates detergent over fears it could contain bacteria typically found in water and soil. The detergent was sold on Amazon in January.
In this morning's health headlines, doctors' offices across the country are turning to some high-tech technology in order to focus more on patients, a little bit more personable. So they're using AI, which is the opposite of personable, but nevertheless, AI, artificial intelligence, that helps with things like note-taking during visits, so they don't have to spend time typing or looking down to write. They can instead be more personable, more engaged. AI also helping to summarize visits, even with billing records too.
I know this is the future of medicine. It actually has a very beneficial role in bringing back the rapport and the relationship between patients and the physician.
Suki AI that's the founder, says it's used at more than 300 health systems across the country.
Okay. Thoughts?
I don't know. Polarizing. I'm gonna keep it to myself.
Well, still to come on News 6 Mornings, voters in parts of Central Florida will soon head to the polls.
Yeah, coming up when early voting will begin for Florida's 6th Congressional District and what you need to know.
Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results.
A good Friday morning. I'm News 6 meteorologist Michelle Morgan. Time now is 7:28. It is a chilly start to our morning, but check this out. We'll be seeing our daytime highs in the lower 70s and upper 60s across our inland spots here, but along our coast a little bit cooler due to those northwesterly winds. High of 64 in Daytona, 63 in New Smyrna Beach, and 66 in Titusville. No rain in the forecast today. There's a red flag warning in effect for Orange as well as Brevard and Osceola counties. Just be careful with the burning. Now it's time to check on those roads. Here's Trooper Steve.
Well, if you're getting ready to hit the road, roadways not too bad for the most part. Routine stuff down in the attractions, I-4 at the 56, but further east you get, it's not horrible. Narcoossee, please be careful. You do have a crash at Emerson Lake if you're leaving Lake Nona, but Kissimmee looking good along OBT, John Young Parkway as well, with no crashes outside to currently report there. And Poinciana, you're running smooth. The news continues next. Remember, get updates on any of our big stories anytime. clickorlando.com.
This portion of the news is sponsored by AK Certified Roofing. Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results in your neighborhood. Now it's 7:30.
A warning on the coast with a high risk of rip currents at some of the most popular beaches in Central Florida. What's being done to keep you safe and what you should look out for before getting in the water.
Plus, a brush fire breaks out, burning hundreds of acres. An update on how fire crews are working to get it fully under control.
And it's almost time to cast your vote early in one of our congressional district races. What voters need to know when it comes to potentially changing election laws. Good morning to you, Central Florida. Happy Friday. I'm Justin Mormon.
Oh, yeah. I'm Crystal Moyer. We'll have those stories ahead. But we want to start with a check of your pinpoint weather with meteorologist Michelle Morgan. Taking a look outside, it seems calm.
Yeah.
But the wind's going to hit you.
Yeah.
It's going to slap you in the face.
It's going to do all of that today. It is a breezy start to our morning. Crystal she catches me off guard sometimes, and I really love that about her. It is a breezy start to our day, and it's also chilly. So when you factor in the winds, it feels even cooler on the skin. Taking you outside, downtown Orlando, looking gorgeous. This is from our Light Orlando camera. And we are actually, even though it's a chilly start, milder conditions are on the way. Weekend looks fantastic. Now, because of the dry and breezy conditions, a red flag warning in effect for a few counties this morning and later on this afternoon. Taking a look at your current conditions, the Villages, Ocala, Palm Coast. Good morning to you. You're at 44, 41 in Wildwood, Claremont there at 46. 49 in Orlando, 51 in Cocoa Beach. There goes your red flag warning for Orange, Osceola and Brevard County. No open fires today. And your pinpoint forecast for Daytona Beach, staying cool as we go through the morning. 49 around 9, 53 around 10. 56 around 11, and there is a high rip current risk due to the strong winds along all of our Atlantic beaches today. There's your forecast highs, 71 in Orlando, 70 in Kissimmee, Claremont, as well as Wildwood. A little bit cooler along the coast due to those northwesterly winds with temperatures in the 60s, 64 in Palm Coast, 63 in New Smyrna Beach, 64 in Cape Canaveral and Cocoa Beach. Now we are looking even better as we head into the weekend. We'll talk more about that coming up in a bit, but now it's time to check on those roads. Here's Trooper Steve.
I was sitting there looking at that map for a second. I'm like, what are all those bright dots? They're suns.
They're suns.
Because when you look at it, they're shining at you.
Yeah, there you go.
Duh, Steve. I'm saying, what are all these dots on the screen? I-4 at US 192. We're running smooth this morning. That crash at Narcoossee off to the side now in Lake Nona. So we're doing pretty good, but with great weather, a lot of people are going to be on the road end to spring break. Everyone kind of finishing off their weekend strong. Vine Street looking good through the city of Kissimmee. Your drive times on I-4, 417 down to downtown, 16 minutes. 23 coming in from Kissimmee, which is not bad. And then now we're starting to see a little bit of a slowdown out here along 535, aka Vineland Road, northbound. So it's going to be right there from Osceola Parkway, that county line there, up towards 417. You'll pass Polynesian Isle right there. Outlets off to the right, and then things will clear up northbound. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Steve. Taking a live look now from our camera in Daytona Beach. Gorgeous sunrise. Spring break, as we've been mentioning, almost over. It is quite quiet out there right now, a little chilly, but the beaches will probably be packed later on today, even if it is a little chilly. And there is a warning in the water. Officials say that high risk of rip currents along parts of our coast. Yeah,
so listen up. Red flags will be flying and lifeguards will be on high alert today. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez has more on what's being done to keep people safe in Volusia County.
A day at the beach is a spring breaker's dream, but rip currents can make for a dangerous situation out on the water.
As that tide goes out, that's when the rip currents historically pull stronger at that outgoing tide. Yeah. So in the afternoon, you can most likely see the strength of those rip currents increase.
While many are eager to take a dip, the National Weather Service says there is a high rip current risk along the Atlantic coast.
So are you guys planning on getting in?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely with the sun out. Oh yeah, I'm definitely planning to get in for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the weather's amazing. I'm just ready to get in the water.
The waves are expected to die down within the next day, but underneath the surface, those extremely strong rip currents are expected to stick around through the weekend.
And that was News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez reporting. Volusia County says it's bringing in some extra lifeguards this week to handle the mix of the crowds and the rip currents.
And speaking of talking about the beach, the Volusia County Sheriff's Office says it's made over 100 arrests this year so far during spring break. We've told you how law enforcement has been out in full force, even putting a juvenile curfew in place to try and cut down on illegal activity on the shore. Deputies say they've had made 114 arrests on the beach, 20 of those underage. It's an increase from last year when during the major spring break week, 52 people were arrested. We're also following the status of a large brush fire in Volusia County. Right now, the Florida Forest Service says it's about 80% contained. The flames broke out during rush hour yesterday afternoon near State Road 44 and Tomoka Farms Road. That's by the Samsula landfill. The fire right now reaching 336 acres. A helicopter used water from a nearby pond to pour onto those flames there as fire crews work to protect homes and other structures nearby.
Grab the necessities, grab social, grab all that stuff. So I got her, just grabbed her and the kiddos, took her to a buddy's house, and using the car, got the kids all occupied.
Fire crews say strong winds causing that fire to spread quickly.
Animal rights activists are calling for tougher punishments when it comes to animal cruelty arrests after a woman was arrested for allegedly killing a dog and leaving it in a bathroom at Orlando International Airport. Police say 57-year-old Allison Lawrence left a trail of clues behind when she was at the airport back in December, including this surveillance video showing her with the dog at one point and then without the dog. Police believe Lawrence drowned the dog after she wasn't able to board it on the plane because she didn't have the right paperwork. The dog was later found dead in a trash can along with a collar, which included Lawrence's information. We spoke with an animal rights advocate who says something like this should have never happened.
This is not a bottle of water or an oversized bottle of shampoo that someone was caught at security with. This is, man's best friend, and we hope that this woman is prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Lawrence was arrested on Tuesday. She has since been released from jail on a $5,000 bond and faces aggravated animal cruelty charges.
After decades on death row, the man convicted of killing a Seminole County woman and her granddaughter has been put to death. 63-year-old Edward James died by lethal injection just after 8 last night. He was convicted of killing 8-year-old Tony Nooner and her grandmother Betty Dick of Castleberry back in 1993. Now, he declined to give a final statement before the execution. This was Florida's second execution of the year and the fourth carried out this week in the United States.
New this morning, a child has drowned while swimming with his father at a lake in Polk County. Deputies say 12-year-old Noah Gomez was swimming at Lake Roy in Winter Haven with his dad and his brothers. Sheriff's office says rough waters and that 30-mile-an-hour wind made it difficult to swim, and at some point Noah disappeared into the water. Deputies say he was not wearing a life vest, but he was a good swimmer. Within less than 2 hours, the sheriff says the boy's body was found.
This is just an unfortunate tragedy. There was no malice here. He was trying to spend time with his children. They planned to fish and swim, and unfortunately, it didn't work out very well.
The sheriff there urged families to put their children in life vests while out on the water, especially when the weather conditions are poor.
In results 2025, early voting for Florida's special election in Congressional District 6 starts tomorrow, and supervisors of elections are already making those final preparations. News 6's Angie Casada joins us live. And Angie, there are several counties involved here, but some things that those voters need to know before they head to the ballots.
Hey, that's right, exactly. So Lake County is one out of the 4 counties that are going to be taking part in this special election. We were in Volusia County yesterday where the canvassing board met to certify different ballots, kind of like this one. This is a sample ballot. And the biggest thing is that we spoke with Supervisor of Elections Lisa Lewis, who gave us a full breakdown of what voters need to know.
With just 2 weeks until Florida's special election in Congressional District 6, supervisors of elections are finalizing preparations and reminding voters to be prepared.
Really to find out if they do live in Congressional District 6. In Volusia County, we have 2 congressional districts that represent us, 6 and 7, so it's only for 6, which is the northern half of the county. And if they go to our website, we have right here, it says, do I live in Congressional District 6? Okay. Learn more, you can click on it. It pulls up an interactive map. You can put in your address and find out exactly where you go to vote and if you are eligible to vote in this election.
Real easy.
Very easy.
Voters in Volusia, Flagler, Lake, and Marion counties will decide who replaces Mike Waltz, who left Congress to serve as President Donald Trump's national security advisor. This is one of 2 vacant seats in Florida's 28-member House delegation. State Senator Randy Fine won the Republican primary, while educator Josh Wheels secured the Democratic nomination. The winner will head to Washington after the April 1st election. Supervisors are also watching potential changes to state voting laws, including a proposal to require audits of all election results.
Actually, Volusia County is a little ahead of the game. We have been utilizing clear ballot audit system for 4 years. So it's 2 election cycles, 22 and 24, where we audit 100% of our election results.
And out here in Lake County, I'm actually joined with Alan Hayes. But again, early voting kicks off tomorrow morning between the hours of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And supervisors are encouraging to come out early so you can avoid those long lines.
And in Lake County, it's from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m.
Perfect. Good to know. So reporting in Lake County, Angie Casada, getting results, News 6.
Thank you. Well, a free dental event is kicking off in Daytona Beach, meant to get results and provide care for some 2,000 Central Floridians. We have a crew on the scene right now. Here's a look at how many people are lined up right at 7 a.m. to get their spot. I know it's cold out there right now. We told you yesterday about how the 2-day event at Mainland High School will provide free services like cleanings, root canals, and checkups. For some, though, it's the first time they've ever seen a dentist in years.
There's patients all over the state who are living with pain, infections, and dental needs that aren't being addressed. And so that's why we're super grateful to provide this event for our community.
The event is on a first-come, first-served basis, and it will also be open tomorrow as well.
Yeah, a lot of blankets out there, a lot of sweatshirts, a lot of jackets. It is a chilly morning. Meteorologist Michelle Morgan joins us now. That's partly due to a cold front, Michelle, that came through yesterday.
Yeah, it moved through yesterday afternoon, Justin, and it really didn't bring much rain to Central Florida. Some of us, we saw some sprinkles, light showers, but it was isolated. But we definitely saw a cool down, and it was very quick. The winds also picked up, and we're still dealing with breezy conditions at the moment. Taking you outside here in Daytona Beach, gorgeous shot here. We're looking at a few clouds in the sky, and the sun is up. But notice the water looking a bit choppy because of those strong northwesterly winds. And because of that, we are looking at a high rip current risk along the entire East Coast through today. Current temperatures in Daytona Beach at 47, wind gusts at 25 miles per hour, and it will stay gusty as we go through the rest of your morning heading into the afternoon hours. But check this out. Temperatures in the 40s for many of us. DeLand, good morning. You're at 46, 47 and 48 in New Smyrna Beach, 50 in Titusville and Orlando at 49 degrees. Gusts out of the northwest between 25 to even 31 miles per hour there in Orlando. Because of the dry and gusty conditions, a red flag warning in effect starting at 10 through 7 for, we're looking at Brevard, Osceola, and Orange counties. That means no fires today, but a little bit warmer in the upper 60s, lower 70s this afternoon. Weekend forecast looking great. We'll talk more about that coming up in a bit, but now it's time to check on those roads. Here's Trooper Steve.
Thank you, ma'am. We do have a crash that just came out, northwest Orange County, kind of a pop, got Plymouth Sorrento at Spring Lane. FHP reporting we're shut down here, so please be careful. Just switch over to there to 441. You can get by that, but that's going to slow you down, especially if you live within the close proximity of that crash. Another one there at OBT, and that's going to be Maitland headed east, so just be cautious there. And then southbound 429 looking real good between Winter Garden and Ocoee. Now yesterday, talking about 429, we were out on the interstates because the Senate is talking about increasing our speed limits. And you guys know me, I have an opinion for everything right now. So we went out there and drove around a little bit just to make sure that things were kosher. Head over to clickorlando.com and you can check that out. Today, you guys know I love animals, and Commissioner Peggy Chowdhury down in Osceola County is putting on an event tomorrow to get your pet chipped for free. So I'm inviting her into Results One for the very first time today at 10 a.m. Come join me and her for a great conversation. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you, Steve. 7:43, 7:44. Actually, if you own a Tesla Cybertruck, you could be facing some trouble on the road.
Coming up, why thousands are under a recall alert for being a potential hazard and what you can do to stay safe.
First, though, flames erupt on a Toronto runway after a plane flips over after it crash lands. Remember this? What the new preliminary report reveals happened moments before touchdown. New this morning, the NTSB is releasing a preliminary report into last month's Delta plane crash in Toronto. So in the moments before touching down, investigators say the plane was descending at a rate of more than 1,100 feet per minute. That is nearly twice as fast as normal. The NTSB says the right landing gear also fractured when it landed, causing the wing to break, fuel to spill, and that ignited the fire and explosion. All 80 passengers and crew survived. 21 people, though, were injured, including 2 seriously. That preliminary report does not fully identify what caused the crash or the broken landing gear. A final determination could take nearly 2 years.
Meanwhile, a Southwest flight interrupted by air traffic control just before it took off from a taxiway at Orlando International Airport. Flight 3278, bound for Albany, was stopped after Southwest Airlines says the crew mistook the taxiway for a runway. Now, to give you some perspective here, taxiways actually connect the gates to runways, and they're not supposed to be used for takeoffs. No injuries were reported, and passengers were rebooked on a new flight. The FAA is investigating as recent aviation mishaps continue to raise concerns about air travel safety.
A proposal to let 18-year-olds buy rifles and shotguns is now headed to the State House for a full vote. The Republican-led House Judiciary Committee just approved a bill to lower the age from 21 to 18. This law was originally set after the tragic 2018 Parkland school shooting that claimed 19 lives, 17 others were hurt. The bill is controversial, as you can imagine, causing both sides to weigh in on how it would impact gun rights in the future.
We're correcting an inequity with this legislation.
This bill will not make our communities any safer.
While the House has passed similar bills in 2023 and 2024, they did not make it through the state Senate.
A recall alert from Tesla. Officials say over 46,000 Cybertrucks could be a hazard on the road. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration warns the stainless steel exterior trim panel can detach and fall off the truck, causing a potential road hazard. This recall is for Cybertrucks built between November 2023 and last month. Owners of affected vehicles can have that rail assembly repaired at no cost.
Well, it's a fashion show unlike any other. More than 50 Snoopy plush toys dressed in designer outfits are taking over Paris. It's all part of the 75th anniversary celebration of the iconic Peanuts comic strip. Snoopy has been a fashion icon, inspiring collections from Gucci to Chanel. Go off, King. And now several of these designs are on the pup himself.
Once one fashion designer made a costume for Snoopy, then other fashion designers wanted to join in.
Yeah, Snoopy ate, folks, and you can see some of that stylish creation. The Snoopy in Style exhibition opening Saturday in Paris at the Hotel du Grand Vignoble. How's that one?
Just rolls off the tongue.
The exhibit runs until April 5th.
I've learned that if you see French words like that, you just kind of spit it off a little quick, and it sounds great.
Who would have known a basic black and white beagle can be such an icon and inspiration to fashion?
It's just because Snoopy's got so much like aura, the vibes of Snoopy.
His personality.
Just always like kicking back.
It's
like,
top notch.
Meanwhile, he's never even said a word.
No.
There you go.
No,
he doesn't have to.
His swag is so strong.
Swag.
Come on, you need some
I
swag.
love that. He is swaggy. I agree.
He's swaggy.
Yeah. All right. Well, this forecast is not swaggy. It's cold out there. I don't know. Maybe because I'm weak. I don't know. It's just cold.
It is cold, Michelle.
It's cold and windy.
And it's windy, exactly. So that's putting a little bit more of a chill.
That's real nice.
Yeah, True Perceive is nice. That is nice. Look at that. Gorgeous shot of the downtown area. This is from our Light Orlando delivering hope camera, not a cloud in sight over the city. And temperatures are starting off in the 40s right now. So bundle up if you're heading out the door. But temperatures will rebound nicely into the 60s and 70s today because of the dry, breezy conditions. A red flag warning in effect later on today in a few counties. But the weekend looking great. Nice and warm and dry. Now, taking a look at the conditions here, the setup, the water vapor imagery showing that dry air moving across the peninsula. There's our cold front that moved through yesterday. Notice that H out to the west, area of high pressure over Louisiana will continue to move eastward towards us, keeping things generally quiet as we go through the weekend. Now, even though it will be a nice weekend, temperatures won't be too hot. It will be really picture perfect. Couldn't ask for a better forecast for the weekend. But as we take a look at your current temperatures, We're looking at 44 degrees in Palm Coast. Ocala, good morning, also at 44. 41 in Wildwood, 49 in Orlando, and 49 degrees in Cape Canaveral. The winds, though, howling out of the northwest between 10 to 20 miles per hour, sustained, and gust up to 30 miles per hour. We're looking at Titusville, Cape Canaveral, you can see there in red, 29-mile-per-hour wind gust in Cocoa Beach, and it will stay gusty as we go through the entire morning and at least through the first half of the afternoon. Now, because of those conditions, the combination of dry conditions, windy conditions, we're looking at a red flag warning in effect for Orange, Osceola, Brevard County. So things to avoid: no open fires, properly discard cigarettes and cigars, and keep your vehicles off dry grass. The vegetation across Central Florida super dry, still in a drought. As we take a look at your hour-by-hour forecast, plenty of sunshine through the morning. We're at 53 around 9, 54 around 10, 57 around 11, hitting a daytime high of 71 degrees this afternoon. Look at your coastal highs, a little bit cooler due to those northwesterly winds. 60 in Flagler Beach, 63 in New Smyrna Beach, and 66 in Titusville. I don't know, today probably won't be the best beach day if you're planning on that. And because of that, a high rip current risk in effect for all of our Atlantic beaches, and there's a small craft advisory through the morning hours. So if you're doing any boating today, just use caution. Clouds and rain forecast looking fantastic. No rain, no clouds, and there goes that area of high pressure moving in later on today. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Breezy today, 71, chilly tonight, 47, 78 on Saturday, 83 on Sunday, and 86 on Monday. Now it's time to check on those roads. Here's Trooper Steve.
Roadways, we have 2 crashes you need to know about. First one here at Plymouth Sorrento at Spring Lane. Looks like we have removed the roadblock, but the crews are still out there, so please be careful. This is kind of unincorporated Popka. Another one at OBT and Maitland in the eastbound direction really set us up to slow us down. But Winter Garden and Coe, you guys look good. We're talking Florida Turnpike, Colonial, Story Road, everything else nice and smooth. And then our drive times on I-4 westbound from John Young. If you're leaving our area this morning, lucky you, 29 minutes. Lake Mary to Maitland, 8. And that's at the speed limit. So just take it smooth. And I'm calling this Narcoossee and Emerson Lake all gone. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Steve. A rip current warning in effect as thousands of people are expected to hit the beach for spring break. The warning from officials next as we check our big stories. $7:55. Let's get a check of those big stories. The National Weather Service says there's a high risk of rip currents along the Atlantic coast. Volusia lifeguards have rescued about 7 or 8 people so far, but expect more as the currents strengthen over the next few days.
An 18-year-old is dead after a shooting last night in Orange County. The sheriff's office tells us they found the man shot on Creekwood Drive in Pine Castle. He was taken to the hospital but did not survive. Right now, deputies haven't told us if they've made an arrest.
And a brush fire in Volusia County, now 80% contained. It broke out yesterday afternoon near State Road 44 and Tomoka Farms Road. Several neighbors were evacuated. Michelle.
And it's a chilly start to our morning across Central Florida. We are starting off in the 40s and 50s. So if you are heading out the door, just make sure you're bundling up, probably a light jacket. But if you're weak like me, I needed a parka this morning. And then we're looking at upper 60s and lower 70s this afternoon. Breezy because of the dry, breezy conditions. A red flag warning in effect for Orange, Osceola, and Brevard counties today. So no burning. Weekend forecast looking great. We're in the 70s on Saturday, 80s on Sunday.
Basically, she's saying it's not cold enough to start a fire out there, so
there you go.
Don't. 36 minutes. Champions Gate to downtown Orlando on I-4. If you're going eastbound this morning, that crash at Plymouth Sorrento, all clear. And the other one at Maitland, calling it clear as well.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for joining us. We break news on clickorlando.com.
You can also find all of our stories on our new 6 Plus app for your TV.
Hope you have a great Friday and a great weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.